only carrying that information. So you can see here that they've had to map the area, they've had to put in what these areas are, and down the side it actually tells you, this is zone 1, it's an urban, this is zone whatever. And within each of these, you can put information.
Right, okay.
So if they categorise a zone and show what's there, they can actually write about it, and they can put pictures and such in there as well, videos.
Farm environment plans is just sitting there. And our field visits, aspect.
Yeah, this would be good for the hill country
soil,
one, because you've got these big complex farms, these different bits on there.
So you've got all, this is just a series of steps beyond where I've been.
So this is a very much a surface map. There's no, you can actually present other bits of information. For example, you might have, so if we go closer in here, say this green area might represent a high yield in something, okay, but you want to represent that as showing it more than the other areas. You can actually extend the map bit up, the green bit, you can extend it up so it becomes a bar graph.
Oh, okay.
So when you look on it, you can see, well, that's a high yield area, that's a low yield area, and such and so forth.
How long does it, getting down to the nitty gritty, because we've got a big class 170, it's quite difficult to run tutorials, like close to impossible. Is there a training module or something that students can work through by themselves so they can get to the stage where they know how to do it, and then we can just go on and say, well, your objective is to show this, this and this and that?
There is, Google actually have made their own tutorials, and they're based upon scenarios, but the ones that I've been using are very easy to use. We used it last year, we presented it to students. I gave a brief tutorial, but the rest of the time was just go on here, have a look at this, follow the instructions.
This is sounding better.
and
so what we need is that you've got a mountain of tutorials on Google, and we just need to be go find these two.
So what I've done is I set it up on the Learn site, and I had specific links to that tutorial that they need to go to, and I put it all there. I've also seeded the Learn site with base files. So you might say, okay, I want this is the area here. You give them the KMZ file. They open it, they add to it, and build their own stuff on it. But it's all done from Learn. I can do that and just point them off into, okay, you go here and you look at this, and you follow them through while you're going through your Google Earth following.
Because if there's that base stuff already done and you've trialled with students, that to me is starting to sound very
Even better is if we can make an example one for students to get a real look at. We found this last year. We made an example one. This is actually the example one here. And we said to students, it's got to sort of look like this.
Okay.
And it was marvellous. They actually bettered it.
Okay.
But we didn't have anyone that went under it. Because they knew exactly what they had to do. For example, we wanted them to follow ridge lines and such and so forth. We didn't want them just to make it blob on it, and they did really, really well.
So what, from the student's point of view, how much time, because we've got one field trip that's jammed up against the holidays and you've got a tour, so this would be really good for the hill country one. How much time typically would you allow a student? It depends on the complexity, but for that one there, if they hadn't done, because I don't know if our students would run any Google mapping before, you think they have and then you find out they haven't. What's the time commitment?
It's really dependent upon the digital capability of the student. If they're not very comfortable in a computer environment, they will find it hard. This is the biggest issue that I have when I have to deal with students on this. It's not so much they can't get Google Earth, it's the fact that they're not good at computing stuff.
They haven't got the background to sort of...
There's a lot in here. Like I've been doing these without any tutorials. I've just been creating this stuff recently myself, and I've spent a lot of hours fighting round and round trying to get there. And now that I've got there, I know that actually the steps are quite simple.
The basics. And if you don't require too much complicated stuff, the basics is quite easy. And the students will pick it up relatively easy. The concepts of making a polygon, colouring it, and putting information on it. If that's what you want, that's relatively
well, we could always start with steps anyway. In terms of marking this, we don't really want
the best way to mark this is to have your rubric on the side that says, they've shown this, they've done that, they've had.
So you've got to open their project.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So they just email you the KMZ file.
Yep. And then somebody needs to open it and just go down and
mark it.
Yeah.
So in reality, the marking of it is not actually that hard.
No.
Because you've got all of what they've done, and they've either been successful or they've absolutely failed. It's actually, I suspect, with an appropriate rubric, she's all go.
Because what you've got there is you've got what we would like is a wee bit of description about the feature or something like that, which you've got in your original anyway.
Yes.
So we could possibly get a marker to do that, do you think, Elizabeth?
I think so. It'd have to be someone who was familiar with it.
Yeah.
But you don't actually have to you don't have to be particularly familiar with Google Earth.
But they've got to be able to access the files.
Yeah.
Oh, it's click and go.
That's it. Click and
yeah. As long as all the university computers have got Google Earth on them.
Yeah, well,
that's the only other thing.
It would have to be a marker who is actually able to come to campus.
No, not really. If they've got internet, and they will have. If they're markers, they've got internet. So they can download Google Earth and away they go.
But anyway, so the marking is best done with that kind of...
We tried marking in it. It's quite difficult.
Right.
Well, they go to a city and get
what
it down.
percentage of the marks have you put on assignments such as that?
Well, this particular assignment, the recreation one, was 25%.
Okay.
So it was quite a big one, but because this is what they actually do in industry, they map areas of recreation. So it represents.
So for your area, that's quite a key.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's probably a leading edge type thing. It's the industry's not doing it yet, but there's no reason why we shouldn't.
Exactly.
But the farm environment plan is going to be crucial, and
that's... It would nice to be half a step ahead for us.
Half a step ahead.
Rather than sort of, okay, that's looking, can you bring me back up to that where you've got the description bit?
Okay, so if I just go that one here. No.
Often the students go back to their farms and show their...
So you're using Windows 8 here, obviously.
Yeah, this one, it works on...
But I mean, you could be using your mouse to do exactly the same as what you're doing, I'm assuming.
Now, the other thing is, if you do the same one each year, we just have to figure out a way of changing the assignment slightly because our students get very efficient.
Yeah, there's the thing is once there's these files floating around that students might have done.
They can just download them and upload them as their own. There's no certain style.
No. That's the only thing is that you probably will have changed because you probably find that people just start using the same polygon.
Yeah, which is quite. If we were in this situation.
But if you tweak the requirements on an annual basis, you will figure the polygons end up becoming base information. The tweaking is where you've decided, does this person know how to drive this?
I know what we could do. We could focus on a different area of the farm each year. Year one, let's focus on the lower block. Year two, we'll focus on the spot. That way we can spin it out.
I mean, we've got to ask the question, are we trying to turn out mappers? Or are we trying to turn out farm managers who have some ability to use maps to, like one of the farms we go to, I'm at the point now where I can say to him, look, I'll give you my GPS for a month, and because he wants his stock order sorted, and I can say to him, get your camera going, get your here's the GPS, you don't need any interaction with the internet, run around, click all your waypoints, take all your photos, camera time set to GPS to just set accurately, and I can deal with that really quickly, create the farm stock order lines for them.
What I'd like students to do from an examiner's point of view is not be brilliant mappers, but be able to do a basic one. And what I'd really like is for them to be in new technology and put some interpretation bits with your boxes without it being a mammoth assignment.
Easy.
So I don't necessarily want sort of 59 million pages of interpretation. I want some quick key points.
Just some absolute fundamentals. Is this person geared to be able to...
Actually, we could turn it into some kind of a field exercise. I could set it up before they go out. Then they could take some photos with their phone, note some quick key points, and the idea is they come back, whack it in, like they've done a field report, almost like they're doing it. They'll do it mentally in the future. but they happen to produce this for us and we mark it.
A great way of doing that is to, in your lectures preceding your field trip, is bring that up in Google Earth in the class. We're going here, we're going to be looking at this, you're going to see this again because you're going to come back and put on here.
These things,
we've been doing that this year. We've just had Google Maps with the farm boundaries and the stops marked and so on.
And you can do that in Google Earth easily.
That would work for the Hill Country one, because if we said you've got to be pre-organised for this, we could have a 2-hour drop-in session. We don't call them tutorials because you can't put them all in. If you want some help, they could we can encourage them to take some photos, take some notes about these particular things, but you will present it to us in this format.
Now I'm happy to help. I mean, what I've done with the recreation ones is I've put my contact on the site, so that students, if they really can't do anything else themselves and they really need help, they come and see me about it. And I've only had one student out of the recreation class do that. The other side is the library have got people in there who have gone through training on this, and they are also ready to help.
So that would be better because we're really stretched with our...
Is Google Earth free?
Yep, free.
Google Earth Pro is free. And I'm not convinced that I've understood properly the differences, but I've downloaded the Pro version because they made it free a while back.
So, and even when they came back from the field trip, if there was a 2-hour drop-in session, we could sort of say, well, if you've got the setup and we give them the base, then that 2-hour session should be enough to put their wee bits on. In that way, because we're quite tight with time, they've just finished a big assignment and we're about to go on to it. That'd be cool.
I think if you're just looking at the basics of putting a polygon, putting information in, they'll get that relatively easily.
And it looks quite, you can imagine if you were doing a presentation to another big farming corporation or something, if you had this, it would make you look quite,
So, can I just
ask a
technical question?
Yes.
How are you getting a polygon that tells you that area on Google Earth? Google Maps does it immediately?
Yes.
Google Earth?
No, Google Earth only does it by line, so it tells you that this one's 20 kilometres and this one's 30 kilometres.
So I'm right, you've got to be in Google Maps to get up around those. But you've definitely been able to draw a polygon and then shape. And you're getting that out of the path.
Polygon.
Yeah, but the polygon that I've used, can I play? The polygon I've used
it does wake the test does wake them up though.
Is not willing to allow me to do.
And then if we could have one of our
so you have to open the polygon. So if you open the polygon,
Google Earth takes a awful lot of
then you have to come in.
And then you'll see that we cursor.
So just do me a random shape.
Because we've got
we can find a specialist marker, no worries.
Because we've got.
I think I've just learned how it works. I was going tick tick tick.
Well, you can do that.
Yeah, but if you go tick tick tick, you get straight lines, and it won't. Yes, so it's just to drag it around.
Yeah.
Jeez, you sorted my problem.
Cool.